Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, September 1st, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Wayne Dyer. As we go about our lives today, think about what kind of energy you are sending out into the world. Notice how you think about the people close to you, far away, or just those random souls who cross your path. Do you spend even a few moments judging them? Have you ever thought that they are a terrible dresser, too fat, ugly, bad driver, or just plain rude? Judgments are something that happen to all of us. And it is a stage we must all go through to master human existence. Whenever we find our mind is creating this narrow mindset, negative perception about another or yourself, take a quick step back and see who it is that is judging. The great thing about judgment is that it forces us to forgive. We get to experience the realm of real love and feelings of forgiveness that melt the protective walls around our hearts and help us to merge with the universe. The power of loving forgiveness is truly transformational, as it can sneak in and heal the deepest parts of our unconsciousness. Incidences from the past, which we've forgotten yet haven't totally forgiven about ourselves, are released and healed when those forgiveness engines get moving. A tiny spark of judgment yesterday may have been exactly what was needed to ignite a wildfire of healing from an issue 25 years prior. There are always positive aspects to everything in this life, yet judgment is the main cause of 99.9% of our pain, struggle, and suffering. It is perhaps the best way to remain lonely, friendless, disconnected, and at a very low manifesting vibration. The more you judge, the more separated you feel from love, and as your body becomes more and more contracted, it becomes harder for you to receive love. And it is rarely impossible to attract great things into your life when you are in a constant state of judgment about yourself or others in this world. Putting a stop to the big J, judgment, is quite extremely simple. It all starts with the choice to develop the new habit of loving acceptance and appreciation for others. You can't judge someone when you're committed to consciously appreciating them exactly the way they are. To instantly shift out of your saboteur's judgmental energy, think of just one thing that you could appreciate about them. Make it up if you cannot find something. Then imagine your heart is opening like a lotus flower, and pouring out of it are 10,000 beams of golden loving light that is surrounding them. Notice how you feel after you imagine this. This commitment to always responding with appreciation is profound. The moment you make this commitment, you will transform your entire life as well as the consciousness of those lives of others around you. Imagine what your world will be like once everyone around you is continuously giving each other morsels of appreciation. It will spread to other communities through the internet and eventually around the world. Through this simple commitment, there would never be another war on the planet, and we could all live in enjoying this life and bliss together. Now, if you cannot find something you appreciate about someone you're in conflict with, try imagining something positive is happening to them. This is another way of giving love. The next time someone gives you a nasty look, or that driver cuts you off on the highway, just imagine that they just received the raise they need at work, or their spouse just gave them a big hug. Notice how your body feels after you visualize this for them. Then you can easily appreciate them, for they've helped you to increase your vibration in that moment and instantly shift into a higher plane of consciousness. Transforming each judgment instantly into love takes the simple awareness of when you are having a bodily contraction and feeling light, tight, heavy, or uneasy. If you're not feeling expansive joy 24 hours a day, you're most likely holding on to some judgments about yourself and others or life inside. By consciously holding the intention to become more aware of your contraction reactions, you empower yourself to transcend the judgment habit. Only through awareness can we flip our focus towards the land of lightness and find our commitment to appreciation. Each time we practice this, a warm, loving feeling will move through us, and eventually it will become our natural way of being and be radiating from our hearts all the time. So it's a choice for all of us, is to make the commitment to turning judgment into appreciation and practice all the exercises mentioned that we've mentioned for quite some time. You can write down, there's you keep a list of different things, and you keep them in a specific area so that you can review them at any time. One is, I am committed to appreciation and love. I am committed to appreciation and love. You just got to put it where you can see it the most often. Put it on a bathroom mirror, one on your fridge. It just depends where you put it. All this is for is reprogramming. We're all, it's interesting that we have challenges, all of us. And it's not like we're consciously aware of most of it. We just walk, we walk with it. We aren't aware that we create everything in our lives, and then we experience it. Moving energy into form, creating it into reality, and experiencing it. This is what we do. This is why each of us are significant on this planet. Every single one of us. Each of us have the power, with the gods within us. If you want to heal someone, put the intent to heal them. From the heart-mind. Connecting with the God within them. Each of us affect millions, depending on our intents, through the heart-mind. So there's no such thing as insignificance with any of us on this planet, in it, above it, and below it. We are all majorly significant. When you desire or want something to occur, look within, not out there, not up there. It's like, I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but you see someone you don't know at like a store or gas station, anywhere. You consciously visualize your heart turning into a golden flower of light and radiating love into them. Could be a flower, however you depict it. Simply say to yourself, I love this person just because they exist. That's it. It's real simple. You can get in the habit of doing it. It's not hard. You will be amazed on how this simple exercise will create a huge shift in your existence, in your life, and stop the mind from forming any judgments that may have previously arisen. See, we come across all these people. We don't know it, but we bring them into our lives. And there's a lot of times where we're confronted, all of us are confronted with frustration, exasperation, disappointment, anger, judgment. And then we go into a judgment spiral. We judge them. We ridicule them. We cut them down. We eviscerate them at times. All because they didn't do what we wanted them to do, and so therefore they're bad, and they're destructive, and they're evil, and we judge, which we don't realize brings us into that same arena. You surround them and yourself in this golden light of love, and you know that in this field, everyone can manifest more love, appreciation, and abundance in their life. It's like we all are, you remember a bike, right? Maybe you remember when you were a kid, you got your first bike. And it had training wheels on it. Those are the little wheels that stuck on each side of the rear wheel, so you wouldn't fall over. And eventually you got to the point where you could take the training wheels off. It was a celebration because you could ride the bike without falling over. It's kind of like how this life is. We start off with training wheels, and then we get to the point where we're balanced enough, and we know ourselves enough, and we don't need the training wheels anymore. There is no reaching the self. If self were to be reached, it would mean that the self is not here and now, and that it is yet to be obtained, or Manamarishi. And I think we all know this. Whatever we focus our attention on is what grows and expands into our life. Our minds are like a magnifying glass that manifests, intensifies, and brings closer whatever object is under its penetrating gaze. When we are 100% committed to directing our mind's energy towards one specific thing in our lives, no matter what it is, all the manifesting energy in the universe flows in that one direction. There is an enormous gold mine of manifesting power found in directing one's attention in one direction. So, what is that one thing that you want to manifest more than anything else in your life? I would give this some thought. Now, all of us want to be happy, feel abundant, free, and have deep inner peace. Yet, what do you think that you specifically have to do to attain these experiences? Can you deeply relax and love your life only after you're financially free? Bought your dream home, lost 10 kilos, and transcended all your fears? Or is it possible to enjoy the sweetness of your life every breath along the way? You may find along the way that you don't have to let go of anything, achieve anything special, or work towards reaching any big goal in order to be ridiculously happy. There's only one basic thing that you need to practice. Keep your mind focused on what you want and off of what you don't want. It's that simple. A lot of us will focus on the things we don't want. Now, we're not consciously aware that we're doing it. But it seems that when we verbalize, when we say to ourselves or someone else, where they don't want something to happen, it is done with gusto. It is done through their heart, minds, not their head. And they say it with such conviction. And you can feel it. It's fascinating to see what miraculous manifestations will appear when you slightly adjust your relationship with your mind. Slightly. When you are constantly directing your mind's attention to dwelling on the things, feelings, and experiences you want, constantly directing your mind's attention to dwelling on the thoughts, feelings, and experiences you want, you become more creative, intuitive, confident. You cannot feel powerless, weak, or a victim to anything in your life when you understand this simple secret. We get taken off, see? We get taken off in different directions. And this is contemplation in the quiet time, when the quiet time comes for this meditation. To focus and contemplate on these things. What we focus on is what we manifest. That's it. It's been proven for decades. Quantum physicists, spiritual applications. Whatever we focus on is what we manifest. So, for instance, if you keep fearing that something isn't going to happen, it's not going to happen, ever. As long as you keep fearing it's not going to happen, it will not happen. By focusing on what it feels like for all your dreams to come true each day, your list of heart-pumping desires must start manifesting for you. This is the great law of the universe. Like attracts like. So you've noticed, we use this statement, birds of feather flock together, right? So if someone is emanating an energy that is low, right? And you've come across people like this, and it's just uncomfortable. And what I do is I flood them with pure, deep, eternal love. I flood them. And I say, flood this being with deep, eternal love always. Flood, permeate, saturate. That's what I do. When I get around someone, and we've all done this, where at first you got like a real bitter taste in your mouth. You don't like them, or you just don't want to be around them. You flood them with pure, deep, eternal love. Permeate them. When we're at a high frequency of energy, we attract similar high vibrational outcomes. It's staggering how quickly all of our problems, illnesses, fears, and limitations instantly drop away when we stop focusing on them. You're not ignoring them. You're just not focusing on them. I guarantee you, emphatically so, that throughout this planet, there are millions of us focusing on what? Problems, illnesses, fears, and limitations. What are we going to do if this doesn't happen? What are we going to do if this doesn't happen or that doesn't happen? It's staggering how quickly all your problems, illnesses, and fears and limitations instantly drop away when you stop focusing on them. And this doesn't mean you're avoiding them, resisting them, or trying to push negative emotions away forcefully. You just feel everything inside, see the bigger picture, and know all is always in perfect balance. Just like the philosophy found in the 5,000-year-old yin-yang symbol. The speck of light is contained within the dark, and the speck of dark is found within the light. You can always find something positive inside what appears to be negative, and vice versa. It's amazing how enjoyable this life can become when we hold this enlightened perspective in our minds. Having realized the self, nothing remains to be known. You see all as perfect bliss. Ramana Marisha. The enlightened state of bliss is one of the highest experiences a human can have. It is a feeling of being held by the universe, like a baby in the mother's womb, totally free from all worries and concerns, and where the body is fully emotionally grounded in this new moment. There is an exquisite acceptance of every feeling, thought, and sensation occurring in the body, as the mind is perpetually saying yes in each breath, heartbeat, feeling, and thought that we have. In the enlightened state of bliss, there is no more avoidance of pain or yearning to seek pleasure. The mind is relaxed, absorbed, and grounded within the exploration of saying yes to it all. We realize how every moment of our lives is an attempt by the universe to pour its great cosmic orgasmic energy through us, which makes it easy to say yes. Every breath we inhale is a sacred gift to cherish, and we totally enjoy this sweet, precious life that we still have. Bliss naturally happens through a deep, penetrating relaxation. When you step back from your life, and you realize just how amazing this universe is, how benevolent, loving, and caring this universe actually is, your mind, emotions, and body will begin to relax to a much deeper level. And then the bliss state can slowly start to find its way in. The mind's powerful striving, achieving, defending, and protection programs will suddenly fall away. And you notice how naturally your day is absorbed in feelings of lightness, gratitude, and freedom for no reason at all. You will start to take life more gently, feel a sense of lightness about life, and you start attracting higher vibrational people and outcomes. You start becoming a bliss magnet and find you are constantly manifesting positive, easygoing situations and synchronistic circumstances everywhere you go. Living in a state of bliss doesn't mean you give up feeding your children or going to work. You just do it all from a place of acceptance, joy, freedom, and deep inner peace. When you can remain connected with this blissful, relaxed state of being, feeling deeper into it for several minutes a day, you will be able to build on it throughout the week and soon find it is naturally happening through you for several hours and eventually all day long. Out of this bliss arises an exquisite inner calm, which deepens the acceptance that you are a super powerful manifesting being who can create anything you want. It's like when you're in this state, you choose to be in this state, and you follow that path, you're on that path. It's like you're walking down this endless aisle on both sides of you, and this aisle has everything you could possibly imagine that you would desire, some more than others, but it's like, and you know that you could have all of it, but yet in the state of bliss, you're just looking for a few things that you desire. Even though you know you can have it all, there's just a few things there that you zero in on, that you say, I want these two things, and I'll manifest them for you. Being yourself is being pure love, and that is what bliss is. There is no real love until you are the pure love or admiration. The enlightened state of bliss is easy to find, for it is our most natural and effortless way of being. There truly is nothing we need to do to experience it. Simply relax into the source of life that is flowing through you and is already here now. A light or joyful feeling will arise slowly and naturally and soon take over your mind and body. When you can truly surrender to this experience, trusting fully in it, you discover the secret to tapping into a blissful energy wherever you are. The more you practice relaxing deeper into this pure life energy, the more you will discover a great stillness within it at the center. And here, you will find there are no fears, no worries, no concerns about anything at all. There is just this blissful feeling of pure freedom from the world's drama and an eternal vacation from the frantic, hurried, worried, unsatisfied patterns in the mind. Can you think of anything more blissful than this? The benefits of making a close relationship with the bliss state are incalculable. For starters, you become a bright ball of happiness for everything around you to enjoy. You are a walking demonstration that happiness is not reliant on external circumstances. People will feel lighter from just connecting with you along the way. You'll notice how others are spontaneously generous with you. Strangers feel attracted to you and love your company simply because you're vibrating at this higher frequency. And in time, you'll see a whole new world of opportunities will open its doors for you, and even material success will bow down and kiss your feet. Do not delude yourself by imagining your source to be some God outside you. Your source is within yourself. Give yourself up to it. That means that you should seek the source within and merge with it, Hermana Merici. There are a plethora of remarkable benefits that manifest from living at the bliss vibration. You cannot create a health problem, a financial issue, nor a cold, prickly relationship because your frequency just won't allow it. It won't allow for it. When bliss is active in our bodies and alive in our hearts, we will be having too much fun creating heaven on earth and playing the role of an enlightened, joy-filled bridge. We will be tapped into a source of infinite energy and find it super easy to manifest anything we want into our world. Just by touching the surface of bliss, this world will start giving us whatever our hearts desire. It has to karmically reward us because bliss is one of the most evolved experiences we can have. This universe is forever expanding, and it wants us to join in on this great expansion. It will continue feeding us more of what we desire as long as our energy is sufficient to receive it. The higher energy you have, the more capable you are of taking in all that you can. If you're looking out there for bliss, you're not going to find it. Many people have looked out there throughout the ages. Many people have looked outside of themselves for bliss. They're going to find bliss, right? They don't find it. This enlightened state is not something you can purchase or trade anything for in this world. It's always free and always available right now. It is our natural birthright, and to access it, we simply become open, available, and willing to welcome every possible light and dark experience that could show up here now. If you're someone who is skeptical about this state of bliss, or it's been so long that you've forgotten what bliss feels like, it's good to know that as babies, we each came into this world as a bubbling ball of bliss. Heck, 9 months prior to birth, our first cells were forming out of an orgasm. What else should we expect from you? Bliss is our very nature. It is the foundation of our existence. It is the meeting place where our souls and human essence connect. It wasn't until our minds were conditioned to believe otherwise that this connection was lost. So, if you aren't feeling bliss every day, just know that this jubilant experience is actually buried underneath the busy preoccupations of your mind. Now, when our mind gets quiet and calm, centered and absorbed within the silent stillness at our core, we will feel the bliss begin bubbling up again. It was always there. Since we were babies, just wanting for us to slow down enough to rediscover it. It's vital that we realize our lives are meant to be this fun, empowering, manifesting adventure. Everything we want to manifest in love, money, health, sex, and our intimate relationships can and will be ours one day. We simply choose to raise our vibration high enough to receive it. And by exploring how to open this bliss valve within, we will soon see our desires easily and effortlessly finding a way into our lives. Always remember, deep in your heart, that all is well and everything is unfolding as it should. There are no mistakes anywhere at any time. What appears to be wrong is simply our own false imagination. That's all, Robert added. Just like people ask, well, how do you know your vibrational frequency is high? When you're happy, genuinely, and you're happy basically because you're happy. You just feel good, right? Nothing sparks it. You ever have that? You just feel good. You're happy. Someone says, why are you so happy? I just am. Well, what happened to make you happy? Nothing. I'm happy. That's a high vibrational frequency. Loving yourself is a high vibrational frequency. Okay? It's a frequency. Loving others is a high frequency. You love yourself, you're going to love others. You don't like yourself, you aren't going to like others. Someone doesn't respond, operate exactly the way you want them to, right? Then they become a teacher. Then you're in gratitude. Sometimes they may teach you how to be stronger in certain areas where you weren't. But see, here's the actual challenge for us is to stay there. That's the challenge. Because as we go through our day, we manifest things into our lives that cause us to go down in frequency. Anger, irritation, many things. Is greed low frequency? Yes. Yes, it is. Is wanting power and control low frequency? Yes. Is wishing bad things to happen to others low frequency? Yes. Is deciding to be happy with who and what you are high frequency? Yes. During the course of your day, out of the clear blue, you say to yourself how grateful you are for this very moment you're in. Nothing really pushes you to do it. You want to do it. You want to acknowledge to the universe how wonderful your life is, no matter what's going on. You can always find that. Is that a higher frequency? Yes. Throughout the course of your day, morning, noon, night, evening, whatever, and you go around and you look at things and you say how much you love those, whatever they may be. It could be anything. Love everything. Is that a high vibrational frequency? Yes. And then you get some people that the ego mind is very, very, very strong, and it pulls them in the opposite direction. You can't love everything. That's impossible. How can you love a couch or a piece of steel or some plastic? How can you love that? Okay? And then that pulls you out and down in lower frequency because you're worried about what they're thinking about you. And is that low frequency? Yes. Worrying about what others think about you is low frequency. Now, you might have a physical thing going on, right? And instead of worrying about the physical thing, you say how grateful you are to be in a body that can experience that physical thing. Is that a high vibrational frequency? Yes. There's many people that I'm aware of right now that are in their beds, sick, and they're fearful if they're going to leave the body. They're fearing it. And they're also totally steeped in the body and the illness. Is that low vibrational frequency? Yes. The ones that are saying, I am grateful to have this body to be experiencing this illness. Now, to some, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, right? Well, it's because how we've been trained and taught as a civilization. And when you focus on the gratitude and your attitude is always of gratitude, you're going to change everything in your life. I guarantee that. But it's being consistent and staying there. That doesn't mean you're doing it to get something. It doesn't mean that you're doing, that's the ego mind, where I'm going to be grateful, then I'll get a bunch of stuff. That doesn't work that way. You're grateful from the heart mind. You have no expectations of receiving anything but love from the universe. And that's automatic. It's all about increasing vibrational frequency on this planet. It always has been. It always will be. Bliss is a high state of vibrational of frequency. And bliss is within us. Happiness is a high state of frequency, vibrational frequency. And it is within us. It is our natural state of being. We, all of us, have not been in our natural state of being for a very, very, very long time. And it's a choice for all of us. There's no one sitting there with a gun to your head, except maybe you, figuratively speaking. And it's for us to decide for ourselves. It isn't difficult, at least on the surface, is it? We're able to identify the difference between high frequency and low frequency. Why? Because we've experienced both ends of the spectrum in this life and many others. See? Had we not experienced those things in this life and many others, how would we know? How would we know? We wouldn't. So in the quiet time of this meditation, it's kind of like a review, not a judgment of you. Okay? It's being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself, and in deep gratitude because you're in that body. And it's really having a conversation with the God within you saying, I really don't care to focus on low frequencies because I know what that does. All of us, every one of you in this meditation knows what that does. We're not blinded to it at all. The opposite. We also know what high, naturally high vibrational frequencies. A frequency that vibrates, right? So we choose. But be aware, there's that sneaky ego mind that we haven't mastered completely yet. And it will do what it can to keep you in where? Where? Worry, stress, fear, all those things. And then we all know what that does is that's when we all suffer. It isn't a negative. It's taught us in this life alone that's not something that, does it ever feel good for us? It really doesn't, does it? Yeah, we're used to it. This isn't our first rodeo, but we know that it doesn't feel right. And we know it is low frequency. And we discover it isn't our natural state of being. And we begin to discover our natural state of being because on how it feels deep within us is bliss, happiness, joy, peace, tranquility. That's what our gods are. They're not sad, depressed, irritable, angry, self-defensive. They're not that way. That's not their natural state of being. And we are them. We get caught up in these bodies. We all do. None of us are exempt from it. And sometimes we spend whole lifetime worrying, stressing, and fearing, hating, being angry. Not all the time. That's not a constant. It just means that the majority of our lives are spent worrying, stressing, and fearing, which isn't our natural state of being. Can you see that this repetitiveness of all of this? You think maybe, just maybe, we keep going through this repetitiveness until we discover who and what we are. When we discover who and what we are, we realize that all that out there and the ego mind is a mere illusion. But the ego mind is not negative, it's positive because it teaches us many things about us in these bodies. And we learn and experience. I think that you could ask anybody at this stage in this planet's development and civilization, where you say, would you rather live a life of worry, stress, and fear, anger, or a life of bliss, joy, peace, and happiness? I really don't think anybody would say, no, I want to live a life of worry, stress, fear, hatred, anger, so on and so forth. I don't think anybody would say that. Now, when you ask them, how would you do that? That's when it gets sticky because many don't know how. They believe to go out there is they're going to find happiness, joy, peace, and contentment out there. That doesn't happen. When Buddha was under the Bodhi tree, right? And they use Bodhi seeds in malas today. You know, malas came before the rosary, right? 108 beads, universal number of 9. There's the midhi, the center. And you begin to realize that, what did he do? He literally merged with the God within him. And the outside world was insignificant. It was an entertainment, a distraction. And that's what he discovered. So that's why he spent so much of his time within, meditating. And many others, there's others on this planet doing that right now. And we're all Buddhas, different stages. We're all Maitreyas. Different stages. And when you discover, when you really do come to the realization that you're not the body, you're the God within the body, and the God within the body is part of all the other gods within the bodies in all forms of experience, then you'll understand. You're not part of the body, you're part of the God within the body of all, everyone and everything. Everything. If it has molecular structure where molecules are moving around, it has a form of consciousness. Whatever it may be. If you look at steel, right? We're familiar with that. And we look at what happens. What's the base ingredient of forming and making steel? Right? Iron oxide, iron ore, red dirt, red mountains, that type of thing. Rich in iron oxide. And so you make the steel, right? But the iron oxide has a consciousness, and it has memory, believe it or not. Steel is not its natural state of being. Therefore, it reverts eventually over time back to iron oxide into the earth, known as rust. Right? The metal disintegrates back into the earth as iron oxide. Its natural state of being. What we do on this planet is we force iron oxide to be in an unnatural state. Steel. When you start understanding that we, the gods that we are in these bodies, hatred, anger, fear, greed, power, control, manipulation, dishonesty, is not our natural state of being. But see, somewhere along the line, many of us become lost. We don't know who and what we are. We marry the body. We believe we're the body. And therefore, that's how we exist in this life and other lives. The body, the material physical world. It isn't a bad thing. It is a choice.